Alright, I have been reviewing a lot of bags from AER, so this review might be, from my personal perspective, a little bit boring because I probably already have said a lot about these bags. And with that in mind, a lot of positive things, because for me personally, all of the bags from AER are somewhat the most easiest recommendation for, in air quotes, regular people, because they have really cool design while not being too much out of the ordinary, have extremely good build quality at a price that I personally feel is very competitive. However, this bag is from the Ultra collection, so while it probably is the same or very similar to the bags that I have been reviewing, and it also being a very easy recommendation, I feel like this fabric and its properties alone and all of the benefits that this fabric has grants a new review. That being said, I already covered so many bags from AER, so I don't know yet if I go into all of the positives, all of the features, so maybe check out the info tab above for a different video of the AER bags, but I will obviously always mention all of the negatives that I can find, because personally I always feel that if you check out all of the negatives, the drawbacks and the flaws, it is much easier for you to evaluate if you can live or work around those trade-offs and those flaws or potential negatives. So there might be nitpicking, but that is like always intentional, so you get the best perspective of the product that you're looking at. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go to work. So before we go into all of the details of this review, let's talk a little bit about some of the features of the AER Citypack Pro 2 of the Ultra edition or the Ultra collection. This is a 24-liter backpack with the everyday carry work situation in mind. So we'll go into what I'm packing in just a second. The Ultra collection is supposedly a very lightweight fabric. To be exact, this is the Ultra 400X exterior by Challenge Sailcloth. It has YKK waterproof zippers, Duraflex hardware, and has a lightweight ripstop nylon interior that is Blue Sign approved. So long story short, it is a fairly lightweight bag with an empty weight of, if I'm not completely mistaken, I will superimpose this here, with something around 2.5 pounds. That is, if I'm not completely mistaken, 1 kilogram in empty weight. So consider that heavy or lightweight, but for me personally, I perceive it actually as very lightweight. The negative of this fabric is that, just like X-Pac, it is somewhat crinkly in a way, but it's not as noisy from my personal opinion as X-Pac, so I like the material quite a lot. And it has this very unique texture on top, which I do like. In addition to it being not black but somewhat dark grayish, it has some areas where it has this lime color, which I do like a lot, and I wish that the whole interior was in this lime color, because it would have made finding stuff much more easier. So I don't want to bore you with this feature or this positive stuff, because I feel like all of the products from AER are very well made. They are high quality choice of materials, and I would say they can take a lot of beating, and especially with this new fabric now also being a little bit more lightweight, not by much, but still it is noticeable. This bag in terms of build quality is amazing, and I can highly recommend. But yeah, let's talk about what's inside.
First and foremost, obviously, my laptop of choice, the Apple MacBook Pro M3 Pro Edition. Bought it refurbished. Can highly recommend to buy refurbished from Apple. Then inside the main compartment, my camera of choice, the Fuji XM5. Then my mechanical keyboard, the knock-free split keyboard. Then the Orbit Key 2-in-1 tech pouch, which I only utilize in the one configuration. Check out the video up here to see how I load it up. While this is a really good tech pouch, I'd probably go back to the Evergoods Cap 2 liters. Then basically my 2 bottles here on the outside, with 1 coffee mug and 2 large pure with 2 water bottles. Here on the front top compartment I have my extended EDC in this Tactical Geek pouch. In the front compartment here I have the Bellroy Carryology pencil case as my boo-boo kit. and then my Sennheiser HD25 headphones. So everything that I need for work, and yeah, it all fits in here quite well. Alright, I have to admit, I was always very vocal about bottle compartments on the outside with many bags, that I don't like them because I fear if I would be running that one bottle, especially these aluminum bottles, would kind of jump out and then clatter very loudly to the ground. But I have to admit, with this bag and now me commuting to work by car, it was actually pretty useful to have two outside bottle compartments. Again, usually I don't like them, but in this case I do, because on one side I have an isolated bottle for my coffee, because I'm very sticky with coffee, and in some offices I just don't like the coffee. And on the other slot I have the Lark Pure with 2 water bottles, so I can drink water from tap that is filtered, because I have the filtered version, and it has a UVC light in here. So having these 2 outer water bottle slots is pretty handy, or has become pretty handy in this case. What you need to keep in mind, while I can easily fit these aluminum bottles on both sides, I noticed depending on how many items you have in the main compartment and how, in air quotes, bulky and stiff they are, these compartments can also be a little bit stiff in the beginning, because they slightly, about by 20%, kind of go into the main compartment. So if there's something big like a tech pouch in there, you kind of feel that it gets a little bit difficult to get your bottle inside, just a little bit. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. However, these 2 aluminum bottles, the I think 700 milliliter Lark water bottle, and this coffee mug, also aluminium, I think also like 600 milliliters, they fit perfectly in both of these outer water bottle compartments. Alright, you have seen all of the items that I was carrying inside this bag, but I just wanted to kind of let you know that you can fit even much more into this, because I actually, for work, I bought myself this little, like Huel, an alternative to Huel bottle, fitted that in here, my beanie, some extra t-shirt, and went to the grocery store, bought me some power bars. I fitted all of that stuff into this bag, in addition to everything that I already mentioned, and I'm really amazed how many items that you can actually fit inside, and more importantly, it is very comfortable to carry around. You have a really good top handle if you want to carry it with top handle. The shoulder straps are wide and beefy, so it is comfortable. The only downside is that if you utilize the water bottle compartments like I do with 2 water bottles, the side handles, which are also really good, aren't that accessible. But I assume not many of you actually carry 2 bottles, so if you carry only 1 bottle, at least one of these slots will be available or empty, and therefore the side grab handle will also be available. So again, I am amazed how many items you can fit inside and how comfortable it is to carry around. Alright, now I'm on my way home, and maybe this is a good opportunity to kind of talk about this bag from AER with its Ultra fabric, and maybe let's start with some of the things that I don't like. And again, please remember, I intentionally nitpick about all of the trade-offs, flaws, downsides and negatives about the product, because I personally believe looking at these trade-offs and flaws will give you a better perspective and a better chance to evaluate if you can live or work around those flaws, those trade-offs, instead of just looking at the positives. If I give you only the positives that, in my humble opinion, you can actually gather from looking at the website of the product page, I don't think you get any benefit out of this review. So now let's look at some of the negatives that I've found with this bag. So first and foremost, as I mentioned previously, you have 2 water bottle slots that fit both aluminum isolated bottles that are, they are huge, but you need to keep in mind that depending on what's inside the main compartment, if there is a big tech pouch in there, the water bottle compartment, the bottle that you slide into, will kind of slightly bulk into the main compartment. So if there is a big tech pouch inside the main compartment, you kind of will need to wiggle your water bottle inside. Again, that is a very specific downside
but still something to keep in mind. Continuing with the main compartment, what I noticed is that the zipper pulls and the zippers are very identical or very easy to kind of grab the wrong one, and they are almost in the same space. So what happened to me is multiple times when I wanted to open the main compartment, I accidentally opened up the top quick access compartment, or I accidentally opened up the laptop compartment instead of the main compartment, just because the zipper pulls are very similar to each other, and depending on how you close the main compartment, those zipper pulls will be very close to those other zippers. So that was a little bit annoying. If you kind of close the main compartment all the way to one side to the bottom, then obviously this will not happen to you. But if you want to kind of open up your main compartment in this top loading style, so you keep your zipper pulls fairly close to the top, then it does happen more often than you want that you accidentally grab the wrong zipper pull. That was in actuality a little bit annoying to me, because I wanted, for example, to get quickly to my Fuji X-M5 to grab my camera, and then I opened up the front compartment instead of the main compartment where I put my camera. That was a little bit annoying. Next up, inside the laptop pocket, there is this slot at the top, which is great if you, for example, want to store some more SSDs or maybe your charger. But because there is no zipper, I feel like this is just like a drop stash pocket to quickly store some things. While nothing kind of flew out of that pocket, just from an OCD perspective, I would have wished that there would be something to kind of be able to close that pocket a little bit better. By the way, always drive safe. There is a traffic jam in front of me. In Germany, if there is a traffic jam, the last person that goes into the traffic jam always puts on his or her hazard lights, so the back cars know that we are stopping on the highway. Also, I always switch off my display on my DJI Pocket 3. Do not text and drive. Do not get distracted by a display. I treat filming inside my car as if I would be talking to you on the speakerphone. So always drive safe. What else? But besides that, there isn't that much negative about this bag. I really enjoy this bag. And now going into the positives, but as I said in the introduction, I reviewed so many bags from AER, and I do feel very strongly that all of the bags are, on one hand, a little bit vanilla, but on the other hand, that makes them the most easiest recommendation to most people, because they are so well designed in terms of feature set. They are so well constructed in their build quality that I would trust them to hold up for a lifetime. And more importantly, they look, as I said, a little bit vanilla, but therefore fit so many people's taste. And that is why I believe they are the easiest recommendation. They are an amazing bang for your buck. Yes, a couple of mainstream people, and I mean that in the most friendliest way as possible. I hear so many times from people who are not in the bag enthusiast space that are saying, I would never pay 100 euros for a backpack. That is so stupid. I can get a cheap fashion bag for 50 euros or something. And if that is all that you need, that is good on you. But if you want something better, there's something that holds up a lifetime, that has a lot of good features, that looks good, then I would say spend a little bit more, invest something at around 100, 150 price range. That is still, in air quotes, cheap. All things considered in the bag enthusiast space. I mean, for example, in a GoRock bag or an Evergoods bag will be much more expensive, right? So that considered, it is a fairly competitive price range. And with that in mind, I think AER is a good recommendation. And yeah, as I said in the introduction, I reviewed so many bags from AER. I kind of feel like I repeat myself. So I'm not going into all of the positives. As I said, you can go to the product page, and if you're interested in this bag anyways, you can see all of the positives based on the feature set on the product page anyways. But I can tell you, I really dig the look. I was able to fit so many items inside. The build quality is amazing. With all of the items inside, it's still comfortable to carry around. I do like this Ultra fabric. It is a really good alternative to X-Pac. I love X-Pac, but I know many people who don't like X-Pac for its, let's say, crinkly properties and noise. And while this is crinkly as well in terms of visual appearance, I feel like it's not as noisy as X-Pac. It is still noisy compared to regular canvas or I don't know the English word. I don't know. Other fabrics. Anyway, other fabrics that are in air quotes softer. It's still noisier, but it's not as noisy as X-Pac. So with that all out of the way, I think this bag is amazing. And I still can highly recommend bags from AER. I think they are an easy recommendation, and that holds true for this bag as well. I love the Ultra collection. I think the fabric is looking unique. It feels unique. Everything feels durable. I just wish the whole interior fabric would all be this lime green, which is an amazing color combination. And I think you cannot go wrong with this bag. If you are interested in any of these items, as I said, and if you want to support this channel, check out the affiliate links in the description below. Again, with those you won't pay more, but you will support me and my channel with a small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to check out a different bag from AER, check out the video up here. And YouTube thinks that you like the video down here, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. Help me to get to 67,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. And yeah, I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.